Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today. For this week's video, we're talking about Epiphone, one of my favorite guitar brands, and why I think the headstock is one of the most uninspired designs ever made. Now, the first thing I'd like to say about Epiphone is it has its own unique storied history. So if you own one, don't think of it as like a compromise instrument or like a cheaper Gibson. Epiphone's history goes back to the late 1800s. It has a really unique story, and it's intertwined with Les Paul himself, who worked at the Epiphone factory, created his first prototype there. And they have their own unique models like the Sheraton, the Wildcat, what else? The Casino, probably a bunch of others. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, they have their own unique models and their own unique history. So that being said, why don't I like the design of the headstock? Well, let's take a closer look. I'm going to throw up an image here of a Gibson headstock versus the Epiphone headstock, and it becomes very apparent what's missing. So when you look at the Epiphone design, the ears on the top of the headstock have just simply been cut off. That's it. So when I look at that headstock, I just think of an incomplete design. Now in 1989, Epiphone started their Les Paul standard line, and of course that's when this really unique headstock started. This is the Gibson one, and every time I look at the Epiphone one, this is all I see. Two chunks taken off the Gibson one and slapped Epiphone across the headstock. All right, now let's look at this in a different way. So I'm going to throw up that Epiphone headstock, and then what I'm going to do is overlay the Gibson one over top. So let's do that now so you guys can really see the differences. Now the Epiphone headstock looks a little bit more feminine to me, maybe. I don't know if that's a great way to describe it, but it's kind of narrow, and then it goes into those wide hips, narrows again, and then of course has the ears cut off, which I really hate. But the rest of the open book design really matches up with Gibson. And when you look at the Gibson one, the shoulder lines are a little stronger. It's a little bit straighter up either side of the headstock, which again, from a design aspect, just lends to the look of strength, and then just that beautiful open book headstock. Now, the story of the Epiphone Les Paul's headstock is unique in a few other ways as well. First of all, Epiphone had been using full open book headstocks for many years, so it's not like they had never done it and all the Epiphones had those clipped ears. Historically, they didn't. So why they, decided to do that on their Les Pauls, it's very interesting. A couple of other interesting tidbits. Gibson's Maestro brand, which is like an entry-level brand well below Epiphone, it gets the full Gibson open book headstock. Looks great, right? Somehow Epiphone doesn't get it, but their Maestro brand gets it. I don't understand it. And of course, the models by Epiphone for the Japanese market also get the full Gibson headstock. So really interesting that in Japan they get it, on this Maestro brand they get it, but Epiphone is left out of the party. Now, I'm sure there's more to the story, and I would love to know all the sordid details of who is pressuring who to do what. Maybe Epiphone did this voluntarily, who knows? But I do know that there's millions of other guitar players out there like me who look at the Epiphone headstock design and just think, maybe they can't put their finger on it, but they're like, there's something just off about that design. And for me, it all comes down to, the clipped ears and just looking at it and saying, this is incomplete. Why is something missing from the design? Now, if you're an Epiphone owner, I hope I didn't just ruin your guitar for you. It's kind of one of those things that once you see it, you can't unsee it. But these are awesome guitars. Best bang for your buck. The quality, I've had a number of standards over the years. Great guitars. And of course, we built this one up together on the channel, so it's really special to me. And I'm sure I'll always have, at least one or two Epis in my collection. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. All my information will be on the screen right now, so you can check that out. Other than that, have a great weekend, you guys. We'll see you Monday with a new video. Long live Epiphone.